Hey, I'm Sis from the Jungle Giants. One of the first gigs I remember going to that I was in Brisbane at the River Stage, and it was Jack Johnson, and I think I was in year 10. And I remember it really well because my uncle was really good friends with the drummer. And we had backstage passes, and I met like his wife and children and the band after the show. And I thought that was really cool. And I went to school the next day and was like bragging about meeting Jack Johnson and his family. I couldn't believe like how into it the whole crowd was. Like, it's like pretty chill music, and everyone was just like losing it for Jack Johnson. It was amazing.
My first concert, I was like 12 or 13. It was like end of primary school, beginning of high school, and it was Stevie Wonder, and I went with my mum and dad.
Whoa, killer!
And the one thing I remember about it was that just like, obviously I've been playing drums before and like been doing music, but as like a kid, and the one thing that blew me away was how many people were working on it, and just like the sheer scale of it, and just the like changeover between bands, and there's just like people running around, and like that was the one thing I took away on just like how the sheer scale of it all and how big it was.
That's exactly how your mind works too. Like, you're such a pragmatic guy that all these things, you pick up on all these things. So I'm not surprised that 12-year-old Keelan was like, wow, this changeover is actually pretty fast.
Yeah, like so many people here.
Look
like,
how many people are
look
working
how many
on this
people
thing.
are employed for the
Wow.
And I remember just staring at the drummer and just being in like awe, like the whole time. Yeah, and dancing with my mum heaps, which was cool.
That's
Respect.
so sick.
Yeah. Respect.
Tracy Barker!
Tracy B. I'm Sam. My earliest gig memory, I think, was a band called Grinspoon from Australia, and they're like a late 90s or mid 90s, early 2000s kind of band. They were kind of hard rock, then they kind of went a bit more soft rock. I saw them play in Brisbane in my hometown, and I don't know why I was there. I think my sister had invited me there. But they're like kind of like a screamy rock band, and I remember having my mind absolutely blown. Phil Jameson is the front man, and he was known to just be an absolute like heretic, like drug addict guy that had all this crazy life, but his music was beautiful. And then he was still touring at the time. They stopped touring after a little while, but I remember just standing there kind of at one point in the middle of a mosh, and there was like 50 people on one side, like 50 people on one side. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get crushed. So I like ran away. I was terrified, but it was amazing because the guy was just dictating everything. So I kind of had this moment. I was like, this guy's God. What's he doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, shout out to Grinspoon and Phil. We've met him since then, and he came to one of our shows.
Yeah, he's just sweet.
He's an absolute sweet guy.
Absolutely lovely guy.
Shout out to Phil. Bless up.
My first gig was in Sydney. We're from Brisbane, but it was in Sydney. We were visiting my cousins, and my sister absolutely loved this band called the All American Rejects.
Oh, yeah.
This is like, 2000, what would it be, 2006, maybe 2005? And so she like begged my mom, please mom, please, can we go into Sydney? Because we were actually staying 2 hours outside of Sydney. She said, no, please, can we go into Sydney to watch my favourite band, blah, 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 blah. I think she was like 15 or 14 at the time, and I was maybe 12, 11, around that age. And I really liked them because she had put me onto them. And we went, and my mum was like, the only way we were going is if I'm going as well. And my mum just like absolutely hates loud things, so she just kind of sat in like the lobby of the gig and just like sat there, and that's where all the couches were. So there was apparently just like a couple just fully making out, like almost on top of my mum just sitting there kind of be like, okay, well, when is this gonna... And yeah, I remember being so obsessed with all the songs that any tiny variation on the songs I perceived as like a fuck up.
Oh.
So even any tiny things, I was like, why are they doing it exactly like the way that it was?
I
it was funny, like that was my that was
the
something
big thing
that
took away.
And then as I got better at music, because at that point I didn't even play any music really, I kind of yeah, I didn't do anything with music. So as I became a musician, I reflected on that memory and went, oh,
Stick
that's
to
called
it, yeah.
improvisation.
Yeah.
That's the thing people want to do because it doesn't have to be the same as the recording.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, that's my.
It is funny that balance of that. Like, some people, I mean,
because I studied
some
the
people
songs
hate that.
religiously.
Yeah.
Like
Some people hate it when you sing it different.
yeah,
I remember watching like some video of the Kooks once, and when I was really young, I mean, it's like he was singing it all different. I was like, well, just don't do the bit. I totally get that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you still like that?
Oh, sometimes. I think sometimes, especially when like a melody is really important. I think it's probably, and also when it doesn't seem thought out.
Oh yeah.
You know, when it doesn't seem like it's kind of thought out, when it's really off the fly, on the
Yeah.
off the cuff, and yeah, and when it's not cohesive as a band, you know,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
band improvisation is so cool. Like when people make arrangement changes, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Like when you can like rework a song and it still works and still has all the, like I think Tame Impala is so good at that live,
Yeah.
where they can just kind of make a song stretch for like 12
jam
minutes,
out.
or like they can shorten out these bits and they put all these like
Yeah.
tiny little like dynamic changes. That's so cool.
Mm.
But I don't know. Depends.
Always depends.
Depends.